So we're very excited about the fact that Copper 360 has chosen the JSE in particular to list on our exchange, giving our local investors exposure to a pure copper play. I think it's important that mining companies out there, as they're discovering, as we've got all these scarce resources that of course everyone's trying to fulfill, that they consider the capital markets as a form of capital raising. Copper 360 set out to raise 152 million through their private placement. 90 was committed in terms of the private placement itself, and they've got some further debt funding. I would argue if it wasn't for the potential listing, would they have been able to raise that form of money from the South African investors? I'm not quite sure. So I think there's a lot of things that we can do in South Africa to facilitate more capital formation. Flow-through shares is something that I'm very passionate about, and I do feel that if we do get flow-through share model implemented in South Africa, it'll open up the market to so much more capital for these junior mining companies in particular.
We are very excited joining the JSE here. It's an enormous privilege to list a company and to stand here today. I always say the first mile is the hardest. They don't call it the impossible mile for nothing. And to stand here today with our team that has pulled us through, sometimes pushed us through, to stand here and it's time for celebration. But the next 14 years lies ahead, so the real work starts now.
We're over the moon because it's taken 14 years to get here. A lot of pain, a lot of pain from the team, a lot of hard slugging in difficult markets, difficult environment. But we've made it. We're here, so we are absolutely delighted. It's fantastic.
What's your vision now going forward?
Look, we want to build the next copper giant in Africa. That's what we're going to do, and we'll do it slowly from the ground up. So that's our vision. And I think there's going to be more. I mean, the JSE has been absolutely fantastic in how they've helped us. And I just think there's going to be more of these listings, because if you look at the commodity markets that have picked up. So this is still, I think, the 5th biggest stock exchange in the world, the biggest one in Africa. So this is the place to be, and there's still a lot of money here.
And how important is copper at the moment?
Oh, it's critical. There just isn't enough copper. Copper production's dropping from 40 tons to 20 tons. EVs alone are going to consume 40 tons, million tons, and we're not even talking about infrastructure development and so on. So we don't have enough copper in the world, and so it's already a critical metal, and it's going to become important for South Africa. Credit must go to Shirley Hayes. She's been in here from 14 years ago, picking up all the prospects, in what's now the mining license that we own. We entered the scene about 5 years ago and built the first SXEW plant only for copper. And then, because she was also an investor in that, we then decided, why don't we put the two companies together? Because that just puts us onto super rocket fuel, and that's what it's done. We are rehabilitating the environment also by taking loose rock from old mines, working them, making copper plates, and the new plant from the mines will be making copper concentrate.
So copper is a metal of the future. It's so important for electrification. It's so important for kind of the environmental future of our planet. And we're just thrilled to have a mining SME listing on the JSE today.
But how can we encourage more mining SMEs to list?
Indeed. So we have done a lot as a JSE, cutting red tape. We are hosting small cap showcases. We're looking into research. But we also need the investment community to come behind great opportunities like this, and actually let's, as an ecosystem, put our money where our mouths are.
And could South Africa as a whole, plus the government, encourage more listings through doing a flow-through scheme or something similar?
So we love flow-through shares that have been quite popular in Canada for raising money in the mining industry. So there's some interesting instruments that we can use from a policy perspective that we are engaging with government to see how we can roll those out.
And
definitely.
How do you find the response from government at this point?
Look, obviously, policy takes a long time to change and to grow, and so we wish it could take quicker, but those conversations are happening.
It's a long time since there's been a listing on the JSE. It's fantastic that there's a listing. It's long overdue in terms of participation. And the area that they're in, they're creating jobs, they're doing environmental rehab, and it's been a privilege to work with a team that's so well respected by the institutional market, that's known for having delivered results in the past. And of course then there's the metal that they mine. Copper is, everyone wants copper. There's not enough copper in the world, and it's just a wonderful story of things coming together in terms of long years of blood, sweat and tears for the entrepreneurs, and Shirley's been at this for, I don't know, 15 plus years. Must be a wonderful moment for them, and it's, you know, we're grateful that we got to participate in it in some small way as advisors. But really exciting story, incredible management team. All of the capital that they need for their development plans have been raised in a tough market. So again, that's credit to the combination of what the team has been able to put together, and the macros in terms of copper. So really, you know, really excited and nice to be at the JSE for a listing again.
We, Ekapa Mining, have developed some rather groundbreaking pre-concentrating capacity for our diamond recovery plant in Kimberley. It is an alternative and replacement to DMS plants. It's highly effective, highly cost effective, and I believe there's a major role for it to play in copper pre-concentration to up the grades prior to particularly oxide plant recovery. And the process is being developed in Kimberley on the back of our existing production units, which have been highly successful. And I have a strong feeling at this stage that it is going to be a dynamic game changer to the copper industry in pre-concentrating to have a higher grade going through your production plants.